Imagine walking across land that was once vibrant and alive, now reduced to compacted, lifeless dirt that barely supports weeds. Maybe, just maybe, you're staring at your own backyard right now, wondering if that patch of stubborn clay or sandy wasteland will ever yield the garden of your dreams. What if I told you that buried within ancient Japanese agricultural wisdom lies a method so profound, so elegantly simple, that it can resurrect the most degraded soil and transform it into a thriving ecosystem? This isn't just about gardening, this is about rediscovering a forgotten partnership with the earth itself. Every year, we lose 24 billion tons of fertile soil to erosion and degradation. That's 3 tons for every person on Earth. Modern agriculture, with its reliance on heavy machinery, chemical inputs, and monoculture practices, has created a global crisis that threatens our very survival. Yet while scientists scramble to develop new technologies and synthetic solutions, the answer has been quietly waiting in the rice paddies and mountain farms of Japan for over a century. The method we're exploring today doesn't require expensive equipment, synthetic fertilizers, or years of agricultural education. Instead, it asks us to step back, observe nature's rhythms, and work as partners rather than dominators of the land. This is the revolutionary approach that transformed barren hillsides into abundant food forests, and it can do the same for your struggling garden plot. Masanobu Fukuoka wasn't just a farmer, he was a philosopher, scientist, and quiet revolutionary who challenged everything the modern world believed about agriculture. After working as a plant pathologist and witnessing the destructive effects of chemical farming, Fukuoka retreated to his family's farm on Shikoku Island with a radical idea. What if we stopped fighting nature and started listening to it instead? His natural farming method, developed over decades of careful observation and experimentation, proved that abandoned, degraded land could become more productive than conventional farms without any external inputs. Fukuoka's fields, which hadn't been plowed in over 25 years, consistently produced higher yields than neighboring chemical-dependent farms. The secret wasn't in what he added to the soil, but in what he stopped taking away from it. Fukuoka's approach centers on 4 fundamental principles that work in harmony to regenerate soil health. He eliminated tillage, recognizing that disturbing the soil destroys the delicate networks of fungi and bacteria that plants depend on. He abandoned chemical fertilizers and pesticides, instead fostering beneficial insects and soil organisms that naturally control pests and provide nutrients. He eliminated weeding by using ground covers and companion planting to create balanced plant communities. Most importantly, he eliminated the human ego from farming, replacing the desire to control with patient observation and gentle guidance. What makes Fukuoka's method so effective isn't magic. It's sophisticated ecological science disguised as elegant simplicity. When you stop disturbing soil through tilling, you preserve the mycorrhizal fungal networks that extend plant root systems by up to 1,000 times their natural reach. These fungal highways transport nutrients, water, and even chemical communication signals between plants, creating an underground internet that supports the entire ecosystem above ground. The diverse plant communities that Fukuoka encouraged work together in ways that single crops never can. Deep-rooted plants bring minerals up from subsoil layers, while shallow-rooted companions catch and utilize nutrients near the surface. Nitrogen-fixing legumes provide fertilizer for their neighbors, while aromatic herbs repel harmful insects and attract beneficial pollinators. This polyculture approach mimics forest ecosystems, where multiple species create resilience and abundance through cooperation rather than competition. Perhaps most importantly, the constant ground cover and diverse root systems begin sequestering carbon from the atmosphere and storing it in the soil. This process not only helps combat climate change, but creates the rich, dark humus that characterizes truly fertile soil. As organic matter accumulates, it improves water retention, nutrient availability, and soil structure, creating a positive feedback loop that accelerates regeneration with each passing season. The beauty of Fukuoka's method really lies in its accessibility. You can start putting these principles into practice in any space, whether that's a small urban balcony or several acres of rural land. The first step is to identify the most degraded area of your property, maybe that stubborn corner where nothing seems to grow, or where water just runs off every time it rains. This challenging spot is actually your greatest opportunity since the transformation will be the most dramatic and, honestly, the lessons you learn there will be the most valuable. Begin by creating seed balls, which is a technique that Fukuoka refined to protect seeds while they're establishing themselves in tough conditions. All you need to do is mix clay soil compost and a really diverse selection of seeds that are well adapted to your climate into marble-sized balls. Choose a mix of fast-growing pioneer species to quickly establish ground cover, nitrogen-fixing legumes to start enriching your soil, and long-term perennial crops that will become the backbone of your future food forest. The clay in the seed balls protects the seeds from birds and helps retain moisture, while the compost gives those seedlings their first nutritional boost. Just scatter these seed balls across your target area right before the rainy season in your region. And don't worry about getting the spacing perfect or making sure every condition is ideal. Nature is actually pretty amazing at figuring out which seeds will thrive where. As the seed balls dissolve with moisture, the successful plants will establish themselves, while the seeds that aren't suited to the current conditions will just stay dormant until things improve. This natural selection process means your emerging ecosystem is going to be perfectly adapted to your local environment. It's important to resist the urge to weed, water, or fertilize during this early establishment phase. Instead, you'll want to observe carefully and maybe even jot down notes about which plants emerge where, how they interact, and how the soil itself starts to change. You might notice that areas that used to be hard-packed are suddenly easier to poke with a stick, or that water starts soaking in instead of just running off. These subtle changes are a sign that soil biology is waking up and the regeneration process is beginning. The most challenging part of using Fukuoka's method isn't actually technical, it's psychological. Our culture has really trained us to think that productive gardens need constant intervention, regular inputs, and aggressive management of so-called weeds and pests. Learning to step back and trust natural processes means retraining not just your gardening techniques, but really your whole relationship with the land. During the first year, your plot might look a bit chaotic or even unproductive compared to traditional gardens. That's totally normal and honestly, necessary. The plant community is just starting to form relationships, soil organisms are multiplying and creating networks, and the foundation for future abundance is being laid underground where you can't even see it yet. Your job during this crucial period is to be a gentle observer and an occasional guide, not a commanding general. Watch for spots where the system seems to be struggling and gently help out with more seed balls or maybe some temporary protection from harsh weather. Notice which plant combinations seem to really thrive together and which areas become naturally weed-free as ground covers get established. These observations are going to shape your future plantings and help you understand the unique characteristics of your own site. As your patch of what was once dead soil transforms into a vibrant ecosystem, you're actually becoming part of a growing global movement of gardeners and farmers who are showing that regenerative methods can feed the world while also healing the planet. Every square foot of soil you bring back to life helps with carbon sequestration, biodiversity conservation, and restoring the water cycle. Your success story can inspire neighbors, friends, and fellow gardeners who are looking for sustainable alternatives to industrial agriculture. Be sure to document your journey with photographs, measurements, and detailed notes. Share your experiences with local gardening groups, online communities, and really anyone who's interested in listening. The more people who learn that soil regeneration is possible, the faster we can scale these solutions to meet global environmental challenges. Your backyard experiment with ancient Japanese wisdom could actually be the spark that changes your whole community's approach to caring for the land. The path from dead soil to a living ecosystem isn't always straightforward or predictable, but it's always possible. By embracing Fukuoka's principles of observation, patience, and cooperation with natural systems, you're not just growing plants. You're joining in the ancient dance of regeneration that has sustained life on Earth for millions of years. The secret to reviving dead soil isn't hidden away in laboratories or agricultural colleges. It's been waiting patiently in the wisdom of those who learned to really listen to the land itself. So, are you ready to start your own soil revival journey? Subscribe to the Living Soil Lab for more in-depth guides on regenerative gardening techniques, and don't forget to share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to discover the transformative power of working with nature instead of against it. Together we can show that the future of our food system and our planet starts with the soil beneath our feet.